Greetings to each and every one of you guys. Thank you very much for taking the time to tune in tonight on our episode 5, part 2 of mental health. Just before I go any further, I have some special guests in the studio with me here tonight, and I would like them to introduce themselves for our viewers.
Hi, my name is Gloria Cho. Thank you so much for having me here. I'm South Sudanese, and I'm very passionate about helping our community and our youth in particular.
Yep. My name is Aban James Fadullah. My occupation background is that I actually work in the education department, but I'm also very interested in the entrepreneurship and how to really, create that new futuristic elements that would help enhance our sustainable African community.
Thank you, Aban.
Hello everyone, my name is Nyamal Moon. I'm from South Sudan. Thank you, Lizzie, for having us here today, and I'm very honored to be a part of this discussion where we can create awareness about mental health within our community.
Beautiful. Thank you to each and every one of you guys for actually taking the time and the energy to join me in the studio here tonight to speak about mental health, because we are all aware that it's a very important topic that each and every one of us should speak about. So tonight we will speak about our culture as South Sudanese and how we have each migrated into the Australian society and what our parents think of mental health within our communities and their perspectives on mental health. We'll touch base on the different types of medications that are offered to young people within our communities who are experiencing severe mental illness by other allied health professions such as GPs, counsellors and other health services. I strongly feel that it is important for our young people to do some research and to also have some type of knowledge before they decide to take any medications. We will also speak about self-care and the type of nutrition and the type of food we should be feeding our mind, body and soul. So we would like to provide some statistics and facts about mental health. One of the first ones is each year, approximately 1 in every 5 Australians will experience a mental illness. It is estimated about 45% of Australians may experience mental illness at some point in their lives. Mental illnesses are the third leading cause of disability burden in Australia, accounting for an estimated 27% of the total years lost due to disability. About 4% of people will experience a major depressive episode in a 12-month period, with a 5% women and 3% of men affected. And that's the reason why we have Aban in the studio tonight, for him to also provide his perspective about mental health, especially with men within our South Sudanese community. So I will pass it on to Aban to talk about the next point.
Hi guys, Aban speaking again. Look, I want to just start off by saying that I am not a mental health advisor. I don't work in the field, so everything here is just literally based on research and based on sharing ideas in our community. So just to start off, did you guys know that 2 million Australians are affected each year by anxiety? Did you guys actually know that?
Wow.
Did you guys know that's actually 14% of the actual Australian population?
But the question is, do those people know that they're affected by it? That's the
No,
question.
this is why we're discussing this. So the discussion starts like this right now. They don't know, but here we are. We're starting out by educating, and then we're going to discuss and elaborate, and then share ideas.
Absolutely,
Does that make sense?
that's beautiful.
So just want to just kind of start off with that. And also, 3% of these people are affected by psychotic behavior. Wow. Jail, guys. Jail. Right? Like literally, that means that is extreme mental health we're talking about right now. We're not talking about depression, you're not talking to your friend, you're not picking up about the school. We're talking about real facts, right? So just go on there. And a good example of this is actually this illness is schizophrenia. Schizophrenia. Hey, fix me up, yeah? Y'all hear it, fix me up.
It's a hard word. It's a hard word.
It's a hard word, but it's a very serious condition.
Yeah,
it is a very serious condition.
It is.
If you know about it,
Yeah.
And just continue, about 40% of the population is affected by eating disorder. I will say one thing. I'm actually one of those guys. I used to eat like crazy. Now it's very hard for me to eat twice a day.
Wow.
Very hard. I gotta force it down. I don't know if it's work related or what it is, but I'm actually affected by it, right?
Thank you for sharing.
And just to say one thing, mental health is decreased by age. So at the moment while you're 18 to 24, look, you're actually feeling it then. But as you start to age, you start build up habits. You start to build up routines that actually just kind of diminishing. So in my idea, I'm not really the type of person who say I want to be medicated. It's about what strategies can I bring to my own life.
Amazing.
To make it interesting.
That's
and
it.
to actually move forward from life.
Thank you, Oban. Wow.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Now I'll give us some more statistics that are also educating us right now in the table, which is amazing. People unemployed or not in paid workforce generally have higher rates of mental illness than people who are employed.
Wow.
Limited research suggests that Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people may experience higher levels of psychological distress. It's also saying that lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender and intersex people experience higher levels of psychological distress than other Australians, which can increase their risk of mental illness and suicide.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's deep.
So in Australia, the prevalence of mental or behavioural disorders among people born overseas is similar to those born in Australia. Many violent people have no history of mental disorder, and most people with mental illnesses have no history of violence. So it says 90%. But it says that's very limited research, and I don't think we can base that on everyone.
Yeah. Just
But it just gives
some
us that
individuals.
It gives us,
An overall idea.
yeah.
All right. So those are our statistics for tonight. So we'll now discuss a few points and share our thoughts upon them. So we'll have this as a discussion amongst one another. How can an individual support their mental health and well-being? How can we be able to support our mental health well-being individually? What do we think about that?
To be honest, look, I can only share from my own perspective and my own experience. I think about almost 2 years ago, I actually went through the process of the mental health, and I think it was a process where I actually wanted to find myself, who I am as a person, but also what I wanted to achieve. I enrolled myself at uni. I was there for 2 years. I realized that's not what I wanted, right? So then that thinking process is what causes the mental health. Mental health is about well-being. If you know mentally well and you constantly thinking about certain topic, and you find yourself in the wrong spot at the wrong time, doing the wrong thing, and might be a victim of a wrong behavior at that time. That's how I look at it. So for me to actually start changing that behavior, I realized, okay, well, but what makes you busy? What makes you active?
Yeah, that's it.
It's about the activity I do daily basis.
Yeah.
And I think one thing about me, I had to start learning about skill management, time management, and the key little things,
Yeah.
I got 24 hours a day. Can't add 8 more on top of that when I'm tired.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So that's how it really goes, So that's my opinion at the start of it, just to get us hyped up. So
Absolutely.
Just like you were saying about being active, I feel like mental illness is like a mental fatigue that literally attacks the physical body, right? So you can be in bed not wanting to get up, not wanting to go to work because you just physically can't do it.
Yeah.
So,
So true.
just us talking about this right now, creating that awareness will help someone who is in that situation get up and
And
distinguish.
doesn't know that they're in that
Yeah,
situation.
and distinguish the fact that they are experiencing these things, because what you do or how you resolve it determines the outcome of the
That's it.
the outcome of the situation or the circumstances.
Gloria.
Well, I believe mental health is about your health overall. Like, there is no such thing as a healthy human being without a healthy minded human being. So it's all really connected. Your mental health, your physical health, your spiritual health. I think if you unfold like each topic and if you dissect it, that's what we need to do more in our community.
Wow.
We need to, like, I feel like everything that I've watched that's come out of our community, whether that was like our community leaders speaking or our parents, it's all very repetitive, and it's not very relevant to like youth today.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that people experience now that no one else in our community can explain but our generation.
Yeah.
But this is a great step. like to unfold what mental health is. In my eyes, mental health is your diet.
Beautiful.
Let's okay. I'll stop then. Maybe we can have a discussion about that.
We'll talk about
this
that.
morning
Yeah,
I woke up and the first thing I did, this is part of my routine, is a mental health, right? So this is one of my strategies I did. Today when I woke up, I went and I read a little quote. So I go and watch, I read a quote to just get me started. The quote was this, right? The quote says, literally, it's hard work is hard, but the hardest thing is the wisdom behind it. When are you ready to put that wisdom? Because you have that wisdom, you have the skills and the knowledge and the credibility to start a new page.
absolutely.
So that really got me up this morning, just in terms of mental health.
Yeah.
Like, from my perspective, how an individual can really support their mental health and well-being is by honestly first realizing that they are going through something. It is very difficult to realize that your mental state of mind is not in the right place, as I've mentioned in the last couple of episodes. But like Marley, Aban and Gloria mentioned, it starts off really slow. Just the smallest thing is already a way for you to step out of your state of mind and be able to actually enjoy doing other things.
And make a routine
Just by
please.
waking up in the morning and making your
Can we
bed.
advise someone that's really, really depressed right now? If somebody was like in bed and they couldn't get out of bed because mentally they were just too fatigued, like Marley said, what like how would you help them? What's the first few steps you would advise
them? Yeah.
To be honest, this is again my experience, right? I realize it's really bad strategies. It's nothing very. First thing I wake up, I do my bed, go and brush my teeth, right? Gotta shower, gotta clock in for work, whatever. Those are the first few things. If those things are done right every day.
I'm talking about somebody that
So this somebody
cannot
who doesn't do that right now.
cannot even get up to do those.
Correctly.
Because
So
you know when you get into that deep depression.
Yeah.
meditation was what helped me. I actually
Now we're speaking.
I went through a stage
Spiritual
where
level.
Amazing.
I went to a stage where my body doesn't recognize sleep anymore. That basically means I will sleep till whenever I need to sleep, but then I'm awake and I can't go back to sleep. You know what I do? I don't turn on no TV.
No.
I don't go no social media. I just lie there like I'm sleeping, but I'm actually meditating in bed. That is the first step. Once you understand your thoughts and the thought process behind
You
it,
protect your thoughts.
Yeah.
then when you wake up, you're not really protecting anymore. What you're doing is you're making it more interesting now. You're actually waking up, making it more interesting. Like, okay, well, I know that happens every day. Now I learn how to change that by one little thing that I do different now, right? And then you just practice that one thing. Tomorrow, you add a week later on, you add another skill. It has to be routine based.
Yeah.
So
If
it's
you
like
don't
a
train,
flow.
yeah.
Well, Marlon, what do you think about that
Yeah.
question Gloria just asked?
I
Because
feel
I think
like-
it's really good.
Yeah, I feel like the little things that we do really do matter. Like, just first you distinguish the fact that there is something that you're mentally overwhelmed, and then it's like, something as little as going for a run, just to unwind the body,
Or even walk if you
going
can
for a
run.
walk,
Oh, it's the
doing a
best.
self-care routine.
Yeah.
Just those little things will help you just fight off that mental battle that's going on in your head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure a lot of us have gone through moments of depression, and that's the next one we'll talk about as well. So as Marley just
Can I
mentioned,
just add one more thing just to finish off that topic, right? So
Yeah.
when I started working in education, one thing they really told me that really helped me personally, they told me what you call the Barry Street education model. And what that basically that's based on relationship, body, character, stamina, and there's one more. So there's 5 of them, right? And they basically try to teach you by your own body, your own mind, your own behavior as a student. So I didn't, as a staff member, I actually took myself to become the student of this field.
To relate to it.
And to relate to it.
yeah.
And learn it as if I'm learning it, because tomorrow I have to apply it to somebody else. I need to know how to do it, right? So it's always good to understand what you call the zone of regulation. When are you tired? When are you not tired? When can you do things, right? So
understanding
distinguish-
yourself.
Yeah, distinguish between when you're happy today to when you're sick today to when you're just gonna be angry because someone pissed you off yesterday.
When you need time off.
you just need time off.
yeah.
That's
true. I think one of the other important things to do as well is once we recognize that we're in a very depressional state of mind, our homes do get a lot cluttered with so much things because we're unable to actually have that type of energy to even clean our surroundings. To have a clean environment is very important.
Yeah.
Even if you're not feeling like getting up and actually doing anything, just start off by doing small things within the house.
Making your
by,
bed.
by clearing your energy,
Like
you
I
know,
said,
because
your environment is a projection.
your
of
your
mind.
environment is a projection of your mind, and it's so important. I have days where I feel very low in energy, and as soon as I clean the house, that's it. My energy switches, and I start thinking very positive. So one of the things that I would like to talk about is depression and how it begins. I'm sure each and every one of us have gone through depressions in the past, and how you can recognize it within each other.
Well, you said a very important word. You said energy. I will say, from my experience, whenever I felt that I was really depressed, I was disconnected from my own energy,
So true.
and I wasn't. You know, when you're on top of your own energy and on top of your life, your schedule, your organization. Whenever I felt really stressed and depressed, I like there was a connection between me being disconnected as well. So depression for me is a disconnect from yourself.
From your inner self.
Yeah.
Yeah. From your inner self.
Yeah, and sometimes
I actually
it's,
like
like,
your point.
it's I'll just quickly add on
No, go
that. Sometimes depression can actually be a positive thing because it's alarming you
That something's
that
not right.
something's
To rethink.
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
need to restructure your whole life.
That's
it's like
it.
your mind is begging your body, like, please
Do something.
do something. I'm not comfortable.
Yeah.
That's
So
it,
please.
Gloria.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for adding that
Yeah.
in too. It's so important.
I would have to say, like, my type of depression or what I've experienced, see people experience, it's quite different from, I guess, individual here. So my experience actually is about PTSD, post-trauma. Right? So when I grew up, well, when I came here, if I have to share a story, I don't have mom and dad here, so I always kind of have been living with my sister all alone. So she's my mom and my dad,
Yeah.
and she's everything that I wanted to be at the time because I was young. But then, as I grew up, I started to think about how Africa used to be for me. And the things that happened and the environment I lived in, you know.
It's like it feels like it's something you need to heal from as well.
And that's what I realized. So I'm like, okay, I need to now find someone who can help me recover this, right? And then I want to touch on one of the things. People talk about services or services that can help you. As an African, it is not easy to just go to any service
That
to
is
get
so
help.
true.
Yeah.
You lived a different lifestyle. You've been through a lot of different things, right? So the service that I want to suggest young people, if you're going through something, right, it's called Foundation House. They are experienced on immigrants' mental health. Right? Yes, and I'm not putting down things like, you know, headspace or anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
I'm being real about it.
Yeah,
Like, so
yeah.
they-
You're being
they-
honest.
They told me before, go to, you know, Headspace, Beyond Blue, you know. Well, Beyond Blue is an Australian company. Right?
You need to feel relatable.
Yeah, I probably say something.
Yeah,
This
so did
psychologist.
have you ever like gone to Beyond Blue?
No, because I went to a foundation house, and then
Oh,
I
so
was
that was
actually
your first-
Yes, I was actually meant to get the proper help when I needed it, and it related to me because that person just spoke to me. They didn't advise me about medication and go see this next GP and get this specialist done. No, it's like, dude, you just need to sit there and talk to me.
Oh wow.
Let it out. As a male, you guys hold things way too long.
Yep.
By the time you
Good
realize,
job for actually
that's
taking
true.
yourself
Wow.
there.
That's
Wow.
true. Well done.
now look,
No,
that's
I think-
because most men think that
My goodness.
that's not.
They think it's
A
a
solution.
weakness.
Yeah.
But it's not a weakness.
No, it's
it's,
not.
it's,
Big
it's
strength,
a big
So
strength.
it's a big strength.
and to add to that, for me to make that decision was very hard.
It
Of
would
course.
It was
be.
probably 2 years of just thinking to make it.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
2 years just like, oh, okay, I'm gonna do it. And then I had a lot of people telling me do this, go to this place, and I go home like, no. These people, I feel like the more I tell them as a male, the more they know about me, and that's a distraction line.
But I also feel that within our South Sudanese communities, we feel so scared to talk about mental health. It's like we always want to look so strong
Because it's a
on the
taboo.
outside.
We don't
It's a
understand
taboo
it.
in
You
our-
know,
in our-
yeah,
our society.
yeah. Like I remember, like growing up, I would have to think twice before I spoke to my mum about my mental state of mind, because I was always scared. Maybe mum won't get it.
Yeah.
Maybe she won't understand why I am feeling the way I'm feeling. And I think that's what a lot of our parents need to do. They really need to start, understanding us without judgment, taking the time to really understand each and every one of us.
And I feel like that's correct, right? I think it's because they suppress mental health. And they're used to doing that. They've been through war.
Yeah, I was gonna
they've
say,
been
I don't think
through
it's easy for them to
Yeah,
just
no, it's not.
understand.
You
things
can,
because,
you can.
You know, we have to make them understand.
Help them understand.
We can't even help them. We
And
have
that's
to make them understand.
that's what I mean. Yeah,
right now.
yeah. Like if you sit down with your mum and over time, it might take 2 or 3 years, but eventually they will understand.
Yeah.
Also,
know?
like it comes down to like the generational
Generational.
differences, right?
Yeah.
Like for example, if our parents see us like just sleeping in the room and stuff like that, that's considered laziness, right? To them, they're like, why is she sleeping
What
all
is
day?
depression?
Why is my daughter not cleaning her room?
Yeah.
Why is this not happening? But they don't understand what's going on
In our
heads,
mind,
you get
yeah.
me? Because that didn't happen to them back home.
Well, it's not that it didn't happen to them. They didn't recognize it happening.
Yeah.
Them, yeah.
If they did, they would start literally thinking about
Understanding
it.
it.
Understanding it. They'll start educating
They
us
just
about
didn't
it.
have time to think. Like, some people really underestimate what our parents have gone through.
Can
They've
you-
gone through a lot.
Can I ask a question, right?
They're,
Can you
they're
differentiate between...
traumatized.
Yeah.
They are
That-
traumatized.
Would you be able to differentiate a male, African male, right? And an African mom, African father, African mother, right? Compared to an African son and an African daughter. And try to sit them down and have a conversation. Look how that really turns out, because
Maybe you should do that, Nyayen.
we were
I'm thinking. I'm thinking.
we're brought up in a generation where when you speak to your father and you're educating them, you're not the big guy in the house.
You're the problem.
Now you're the big guy in the house.
You're being disrespectful.
Mom's gonna look at you like, okay, ass whooping coming, literally.
But the little things we have to overcome.
Yeah.
You know, like our generation is actually the bridge between
The
our
gap.
parents
Yeah.
and the younger generation.
Yeah.
And they don't speak each other's language.
No.
You know?
Nah.
They speak
So we are the translators in between.
Yeah.
We have I was gonna say we have it hard, but maybe we have it the easiest because we're blessed to see both
sides.
both
Yeah, perspectives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're in a good position.
Yeah.
We are like the chosen ones at this point.
No, we are. I'm not gonna lie. Like,
For example, like I became a mother here in Australia, right? And then I also know how my mom treated me and like how it is to, you know,
treat
how our mothers
yours.
are and stuff. Saying I love you to my mom was just like, okay, what are you doing, you know? But then now, me as a mother, it's
Yeah.
so important for me to be like to my son, I love you.
Yeah.
Give him a hug. Tell
Yeah.
him you're doing an amazing job. You're
Yeah.
doing this. Just those words of encouragement create a
Lights
big
him up.
impact.
They do.
Like, he may only be 3, but I know how important it is within his growth.
To-
You know. So yeah, like you were saying before, we're the middle. So we understand how our generation is with our different cultures back home and how it is in Australia. So we're really able to really also educate our youth and to create that awareness for our youth as well as for our mothers.
Yeah.
And that's what I always say. We're all balancing the Australian culture and also the South Sudanese culture.
Yeah.
It's a big balance,
big
and
balance,
it's so
yeah.
difficult, you know. But come on, we're citizens
We're
in
doing
this country,
amazing.
so we're doing
Yeah.
pretty
We're
good.
doing amazing.
Now, are we ready to jump on to the next one? All right. So, how do we think we can encourage young people to speak about their mental health within our community and how they can speak about their emotions? Because, to be honest, when you think about mental health, it's a strength. It's not a weakness.
Yeah.
So, how can we encourage young people to speak about their mental health?
Starting with me.
Starting with you.
How can I encourage them? I mean, I'll start off with like your small circle of friends, and then try to also speak to family. Like let's try to overcome this thing where like we don't really show much love at home. You know, let's try to show more love to our siblings, And also, like any relatives like around us that can sit down and listen to us, or if we can take the time. It's not always about us.
No.
You know? No. Can you take the time of day to listen to somebody else that's having a bad day? Just little things, I think, will make a big impact, and they'll actually change like the course of our like community. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Are we going like in a row?
Yeah.
I was gonna jump straight to it.
If you want to go.
Yeah, I would say what I would say to my younger self, or someone younger than me that is watching, is that it's important to think out loud sometimes.
Yeah.
Express your emotions, build healthy relationships within your family, within your community, within your school, and just never be afraid to say your emotions. And yeah, just to express how you're feeling, so then that way you can get the help that you need.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If I was to add on to that from an education perspective, because I actually practice this. Right? I try to perfect it with the young kids. Right? I'm being serious. I'm a loser for this. But I work, right? So what I do is my concept is, before you even open up and do all these other things, you got to build a relationship. And we need to change the phrase relationship to do with a boy and a girl kind of stigma. A relationship,
Like boys can't be friends with girls.
No. So we gotta change that idea that relationship does not mean I'm dating you. It doesn't have to mean that. Right? I have to build a
like
relationship.
Males and females can be friends.
They can be friends, right?
Yeah.
But no, you can't be friends with everybody. Once you get to know that person, you might be like, I'm done, you know? Or you might get so close to them, they become your go-to person. So, in other words, you want to look for friends that are actually reflecting a mentorship skill set.
Absolutely.
Healthy friends.
Healthy friends.
Healthy, positive
friends.
friends.
Right?
Yeah.
And the system I use at school, I call it a buddy system, right? And the system is very simple. When you see someone sit down, you see someone make a bad post, do the initiative to just say hello. Don't ask how are you, or don't ever ask are you okay. That shuts them down. I mean, today's are you okay? They say, but when you do that, don't ask them are you okay.
Don't be direct.
I know.
Don't be direct.
Don't just say hello and just leave it there.
I know.
Yeah? Like,
Are you okay? You feel the emotions straight away. Like,
It comes
To allow the person
Don't
to
remind them.
express.
Don't remind them. Just say hello when they talk.
Yeah.
Try to come on something stupid to just or share a video or something, you know.
Yeah.
No, don't distract them.
Yeah.
Change their energy. That's what you want to do. Once you change someone's energy in a character,
Yeah.
dude, that guy. I had friends who were like, I know I'll be very upset for 5 minutes. I'll be upset all day. They called me a 5-minute conversation, and then they figured out in my tone that I'm upset, right? So then they did the first initiative. I'm still rejecting it. The next thing they do, they just pull up my house. And they just take me out. Like, they take me out for something fun. It could be, as a male, I'll suggest that guys should do activities such as like playing board games if you can, you know? Like, that's always healthy to your mind. Walk if you can. But also go outside, do pool table with the guys.
Yeah.
You know? Learn to lose. Sometimes people don't want to lose. You got to learn to lose.
And just to finish it off, before we move on to the next one, I just remembered, like, the only way I was able, because my siblings are teenagers now, the only way I was able to actually become close with them individually, by actually taking days off to sit down with them at home, show them that I cared about their mental state of mind. Because with these young people that I raised here in Australia, it's so hard for them to open up to us about some of the things that they may be going through outside the house, not just inside the house. So for me, you could just, if there's a couple of siblings out there that are trying to get close with their younger siblings, you could just really take the time to be there for them on a deeper level. Take the time to literally ask them questions. Hey, how's your day? And it does open up a massive door to better understand what's on their mind. So in regards to that was some pretty good points, and I really love that.
Yeah, talking about that question you just asked about how was your day, there was this video I was watching, and they were just saying, you know how like after school you'll ask your child, oh, how was your day at school today? They said that is such a boarded question, where instead of asking someone how was your day, ask them, be specific.
What did you do today?
You know, where did you go today?
But with kids, they usually come up with a lot. once you ask them that question,
Yeah.
you will hear how's your day? They'll start from, Lizzie, so I went to maths and then this happened in English. Then we had science. Then the teacher pulled me aside and there we
you
just
wanna
go
hear the
on and
detentions.
on.
Yeah, you want to hear
And then I went late to school this morning because you didn't drop me off, so now I have to stay behind because Miss this and that said so. Their mind is just it just
Everywhere.
elaborates.
That's why you
It's
have
so
to
big,
target it.
you know. And then like and I feel like it's very important to be specific, like Marley mentioned.
Yeah.
If you don't want to just ask the overall question, "How's your day?" you could just say, "Hey, how's maths? How's recess? What happened at lunchtime?"
Yeah. How are you doing
but
today?
Can we ask how you feeling? Is that
How are you feeling
is
for
that
sure?
too, is that too direct?
It's about you picking the time to ask a closed question and an open question.
Yeah.
You have the power to do that. Really. You got to think about, okay, I know
No,
that
but
person-
how are you feeling comes through observation. So if you
Exactly.
see that they're feeling down, you'd be like, "Hey, are you all right?"
Yeah.
I'll always ask, "Are you okay?"
What if they say no and you can clearly see that they're not okay?
Then we will get right into it. We will talk about that, and
Give
trust
them
me,
time.
I will.
Walk away
Timing,
first.
that's what I was gonna
You
say.
walk away first. When they tell you they're not okay, you give them at least 5 minutes.
No,
Timing is
Listen,
very
listen to
important.
me.
I'm that
You
type
just
of
show your
sister that does not give
I know
time
you don't.
because I want to know why. What's
I
up?
know.
What's the problem?
I know.
You know, because it makes me feel like,
Bothered.
hey, what is going on? Like, am I the problem? Did I upset them in a way? You know, like you start to think that it's you now.
But that's how you walk away. So when you walk away, right, you show your
But
presence.
let's get to
and
the bottom of
then
this. Why do you think that we should walk away?
You're actually buying time for yourself to think about what you're going to say at this kid festival. And this kid need to realize that he's actually in trouble, right? Go walk away, come back. That's what I'm saying. Don't just jump into it. God damn it.
Also,
You might not want it today.
Yeah, Molly.
also by walking
Okay,
away.
valid point.
There you go.
So by walking away, you're making the situation about them rather than about yourself.
No, you're making them feel like somebody actually took the time to care about me.
Yeah.
And then walks away.
And then walks away. But then when you come back, you start a conversation. A good conversation.
Hey, you know what?
remember
I
this?
think
Or you know what
these.
That's your philosophy.
You know what? These
Or
are.
fair enough.
Can I be honest?
It's what I do.
These are actually really good answers because each and every one of us are very different and unique
Yeah,
in
we
our
are.
own ways.
Yeah, facts.
Because
People want
our
different
families
things,
are different.
yeah.
My family and how we do things might be different to how your family does things.
Yeah.
And in my family, we do not walk away. We sit down and we talk. You get it out of each other. Welcome to Lizzie's house.
My sister has zero talk at all. Just listen.
Right now.
You just listen. That's it.
Oh wow! Did anyone want to add anything in? We're about to get to the nutrition side of things, and I am excited to hear what Gloria has to say about that. So, I strongly feel that I know a lot of people are not going to agree with me about this one, but this is a question. If we're going through depression, right? And mental health issues, do we strongly feel that it's okay to suppress whatever we're going through by taking drugs or consuming alcohol? What can we tell young people about actually not going deep by suppressing what it is that they're going through with drugs and alcohol? We need to be purely honest.
Yeah.
We're older now. We have a rough understanding
Yeah.
of how we can navigate our emotions, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but young people, especially the previous generation before us, how can we tell them that
Like, what's the best way to deal with your emotions?
with your emotions by not suppressing them with alcohol or drugs? Yeah,
I think it's important to understand that when people are going through like that mental illness, and if they do take those, they do decide to take alcohol, it is only because they think that taking alcohol will drift them away from the situation.
yeah,
But then little do they know that it doesn't.
No.
You wake up and you still feel the same.
emotions.
You wake up and you still feel even worse because that was not a solution. So avoiding drugs and alcohol during those moments is very important.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
You gotta understand the recreational drugs is by choice. It's a drug you take by choice. If you're taking it at the wrong time, if you're drinking because you're upset, what are you gonna get at?
nothing.
Nothing.
Absolutely
If
nothing.
you do other drugs, right, because you're upset, like alcohol, I could say alcohol is just a standard base, right? But when you
Whatever
surpass,
excessive.
when you surpass that, right?
Yeah.
How are you gonna behave? Do you remember how you're behaving? You might say, "I'm gonna walk down right now, just down the road," and then you see a bridge, you're like, "Okay, this is exciting."
Yeah. See?
Again, you don't know what you're doing.
That's it.
You got to be very aware.
Because you're in a different state of mind when you actually consume.
different decision making, different conversation.
Yep.
You sound different.
You
Like,
become a
very
different person.
easily aggressive.
I feel like you do all of those things just to avoid
The situation.
Yeah.
just avoid
I could-
just
I could-
avoid yourself.
Yeah.
Thank you,
It's
Gloria.
like you're trying to just get out of your own body and live life without yourself.
What?
You can't do that.
No, you can't.
You know, it's easier said than done.
It is. It is.
And I think it's like the number one problem in Australia, whether we're talking about the Sudanese community or not. Alcohol and drugs is really big.
It is.
in the Western world, and I think like the best way to like deal with your problems is to 110% stay away from any substances.
Yeah. Substances
Yeah,
use.
you in that state you just need to be really
Aware.
aware. You need to be loving to yourself.
Yeah.
Make sure it's not a burden to you, but it's a choice for you when you need to do it, and make sure you do it when you actually in a space with social people. Like I see, like I think we're talking about like when someone's actually in their own house by themselves.
Yeah.
That's a kind of different.
That's a
behavior.
problem.
Yeah.
That is
That's
a
a
big
different
problem. Yeah.
Next minute you're calling someone you want to talk to.
But have you realized, like, obviously we're all adults and we have had a bit of tasty with alcohol, right?
Yes.
There's a big difference between when you're drinking in a happy state of mind and when you're drinking because you're feeling low within yourself. There is a
Yeah. And just like Gloria said earlier on, those substances will disconnect you from your body, right?
from
But what
yourself.
you need is something that connects you to
as a whole,
right?
holistically.
Yeah. So that's why those substances are bad, because like, you know, the solutions that we spoke about earlier, like being active, going for a run, having control of your thoughts and all these stuff, connect you to
And the
yourself.
substances actually go against
Go
everything
against
that
that.
you just said.
Yeah.
So you try to build yourself.
Yeah.
Those substances are tearing you down.
Yeah,
They go against-
100%.
I went to a conference before, I think last year, right? And the conference was very interesting because you get to go to your own kind of area, right? And I chose to go to a mental health one. I went there, and then they were talking about, you know, like the correctional system, the justice system, and how they're heavily affected by mental health. Now, the people that were speaking, they were actually African founders of something to do with like justice system, right? So then I asked a question to them. I'm like, can you please explain to me how you take someone from being independent, they worked on themselves and being themselves for a while, they made a mistake, right? You lock them in a jail cell, taking away their independency. Then you release them again, and they tell them, I'm going to be independent. What the heck are you talking about? That's my question.
That's tough.
That's so. I asked that question, and the guy couldn't answer me. I don't even know how to do this after that. But it was a very interesting question because he was raising all these issues that we're doing this in Africa. We're doing this here for the African communities. But to what degree does that have an impact on that person's life? Does that person actually call you to and say thank you, or does that person just ignore you, say thank you in their heart that you got me out, but you're not really supporting me?
So, thank you, Aban. That was a very interesting one, to be honest, very deep. So the next one, I'm just going to introduce this before Gloria takes it for the team. So I strongly feel that what we feed our internal being is so important. So we need to be mindful of what we feed our souls. For example, if you feel very low in energy, don't go out and buy McDonald's. Or Hungry Jacks.
Should cook. Go and cook.
I would suggest that we each start to take. I would suggest that we each take the time to, make some homemade cooked meals, and
Especially in lockdown.
especially in lockdown, learn to cook something like
Qudran.
malakhiya, and cook.
I tried malakhiya before. I tried malakhiya and I stopped it up.
So in regards to that, sorry to cut you. We're running out of time, guys. So in regards to that, I feel that it's very important for us to really focus on what we put within our internal bodies. such as natural remedies that you can research for your mental. And I'll pass it on to Gloria to take it.
So there's not much recognition of this fact, but food affects your mental health directly. Mental health is linked to your diet. So I've just written down some dot points, and after each point we could discuss if that's fine with you guys. So the first point is that healthcare systems don't care about your health. They care about your money, and therefore it's up to each and every individual to take responsibility of their own health and overall well-being. So what do you guys think about that?
Budget yourself.
Budget.
Literally.
Don't
you know,
tap.
you get that $10, make sure that $10 is divided properly.
Yeah. Like I've realized even at 7-Eleven, if you're trying to get a quick bite and you're like, oh, I feel healthy today, I should just get, a couple of lettuce. It's like $6.10, and you're like, wait, well the pie's about $2.90.
Lizzie died.
Not only the pie, you can keep going with this list.
Please guys.
You can start making some new rating right now.
Like what Gloria just mentioned. Oh my goodness, why is healthy food so expensive?
Because it's so good for you. There's nothing that's everything that's good for you in life. It's gonna be hard to get,
Absolutely.
expensive,
Organic.
hard to maintain.
Yeah.
Everything. Yeah, all the good things are really hard to get in life. But that also applies to not only food actually, but the healthcare system overall. So that's talking about medication, anything that's advised by your doctor.
That guy I don't like.
Okay, so the second point is
So in regards to that, so about the medication side of things, I would be being prescribed to take antidepressants if you had depression, if you're lacking sleep, sleeping pills, mush. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really help.
Symptom.
You become more addicted to these type of antidepressants to the point that once you stop taking them, I know someone that was very close to me. Once you stop taking them, you feel out of alignment with yourself. You feel the same unless you take them. So
Quick question: is it still not a drug? Just because it's got prescription?
it's still a drug. It's still a drug. Absolutely.
And I get what you're saying. You spot on. The symptoms really will get you hooked onto it. And then that symptom that one day you have off, honestly.
And you feel out of balance.
Out of balance.
Yes, I just wrote down our shops are full of packaged poison. And when examined, the effects it has on our minds and bodies is very damaging to our health overall. And a well-nourished body and brain is better able to withstand stress and mental illness.
That is so true, 100%.
Quick question: how do I? Let's say I'm a supermarket, right? How do I identify what to buy? I mean, everything's there, right? The vegetables are there. There's organic ones, non-organic ones. I don't know the difference.
That's why they call it a shopping list.
Research,
You put your list together before you go.
Good answer. That's what I was looking for.
You have to know what you're getting.
Yeah.
Unless you're
Like we would all love to take the whole shop and then categorize it.
Yeah.
Anything that's organic is
Because
good
for male,
but these days
it's hard.
These days it's hard to really spot what is what.
Yeah.
Especially if you're at Coles.
I'll specify it.
Forget
Yeah.
it. You're better off going to your market.
I'll specify it. Should I buy canned food?
No, never.
Exactly. That's my point. What else should I not buy? That's what we need to tell them. So I know that preserved food is not artificial food is not welcome.
So
right?
we'll get to that in a little bit. So the next point is that there isn't a single study out there that shows the Western diet is good for our mental health.
Agreeable.
And we need to learn the risks of cheap and processed food. There's no such thing as cheap food.
No.
I agree.
Yeah, the price is paid somewhere.
It is
Perfect.
So that's
and it's about the consumer, really. You know?
Well.
You pay what you want to put in your body.
Yeah.
And I was watching this YouTube video that was talking about a diet study that was done in Australia. And it was based on the Mediterranean diet, which shows that the Mediterranean diet reduces depression
Okay.
So we know that as South Sudanese and Sudanese and Egyptian, we have always been the bridge connecting Africa and the Mediterranean. So if the diet is based on the Mediterranean lifestyle and its region and practices, that means it was actually influenced by Egypt and Sudan. So basically the diet includes healthy fats such as avocados, olive oil, beans, nuts, healthy whole grains, and proteins. And most people think when they say protein, we're talking about meat.
No.
But you're going to have to fight me because I'm a vegetarian.
I was just gonna say, one of my life goals is to become vegan. Because
You get there.
honestly, like my mom is a physical example of how important it is to become a vegan. Like she had a big she was sick and she had a massive surgery, and the way that she overcome, we all knew that through God and through her healthy habits and choices of what she eats helped her.
Can I be a nerd right now? That's called alkaline food, right?
Yeah.
So it's an alkaline line, and basically what we're talking about here is about you trying to put more electrolyte into your body in order to create more endorphins, because endorphin is the chemical that releases the happiness.
Yeah.
Good chemicals.
Amazing. Wow.
So, basically, I wrote down that the ancestral DNA is still the same DNA as ours. So they didn't eat anything that we're eating right now.
It was different.
And you know, we all know that our ancestors were very, very healthy people, physically, mentally.
Can I
Just look at our history.
I'll put a question up there. No one actually had to answer it. It's a stupid question. No, Ronan knows we like to do this when we're about to finish up anyways. The question is, do you guys know that cows are man-made?
Like genetically modified.
What do you mean?
No, like, it's man-made.
Yeah.
Like, they take it to a species, bang. Then the cow is made. Then the cow reproduces.
That's like starting.
That was trippy.
Trust me, I've watched as a vegan or vegetarian.
That's
vegan,
amazing. Yeah.
I've watched a lot of. If you guys start to watch those kind of videos,
Yeah, they're trippy.
you stop.
You're like, okay.
Stop eating it.
Mentally, you'll stop eating meat first, and then it'll catch up to you. Like I wrote this quote actually. Thank God you just said that, because I was like, you know the saying, we are what we eat?
Yeah.
So if we are what we eat, and the cow eats a genetically modified grain and has been given medication for hormones to bulk up, and then we go and eat that cow. So what does that make us?
Same as the cow. You are the cow. Just go move. This halas entire shit.
Keep eating your meat.
Maybe today, Lizzie, maybe today will be our last day.
You guys are gonna start this Macca's KFC behavior. I'm telling you that.
Yeah, no. So many people like to argue like about the proteins and the benefits. You're not at a time where you should be like arguing about all the benefits if the whole animal itself should be left alone.
Just save your money and count it next day. That's what I'm saying, literally.
Yeah.
Good point.
You know, I feel like our diet intake when it comes to meat, it's changed so much after moving to the Western world. Like back home, meat is, I think, traditionally it's just like it's done as a sacrificial, like
Ramadan, good example.
Yeah.
The Ramadan system, the economic system.
it's not. I feel like greed and just like the change in environment and our culture, I think we've actually lost touch with who we are and our practices, and we think we're doing the right thing, but our bodies and our minds say no.
What you're
We
saying
really
is
go back.
what you're saying is really important, because I remember, right? Because I'm from Muslim background. Ramadan is actually a time of giving. People don't actually understand that. It's actually not a time to just eat meat. It's a time where you actually buy a goat, you kill it, and then you
It's a
share it.
sacrifice.
Literally, that's how I understand it, anyways, right?
So the last point for tonight is in regards to how does our community see mental health, and what are some of the changes we can make as a community? Gloria?
What can we make? I mean, what changes can we make as a community?
Yeah.
We can make a lot of changes, to be honest. The first one would be focusing on the youth. Honestly, we need the elders, the community leaders, whoever's in the name of our community,
That name great, huh?
honestly, to really focus on the youth because they're so talented. You know, we come from like a very special community. Like once someone really pays attention to like our youth, it really helps them in their life where they end up going on to like really like thrive and succeeding. So and what they really just need at the start is that little push, that little support, someone to listen to. And if we have our own base, you know, our own like headquarters, let's say, you know, I think we would know where to go when we're in trouble. I feel like most of the time we feel lost because we don't have
Anywhere
like most of us would actually say we don't have a community. Like where is it?
Yeah.
Is it the baby shower? Is it the party? You know, what happened to all those activities that are supposed to like unite like the youth?
Yeah.
Funding to just help like the youth do, you know, like creative projects, help like our athletes. There's so much I
That
could
we
go
can
on
do.
and on
Yeah.
and on about
Yeah.
who needs help.
Yeah. That's right.
Look, from my perspective, I actually work in an education facility. I'm actually a coordinator and a teacher. I teach Microsoft software programming. So if you are interested in just upskilling yourself into just going down, this is not something I would encourage as a startup festival. But I reckon what we need to focus about is everyone has an idea, right? We sometimes don't share those ideas, right? Just purposely, without any feedback, right? So I feel like we need to start creating that organization or group of people coming together to not only share but also learn to accept critical feedback. Our community, we suffer from that. Every time someone gives their feedback,
Yeah.
Sounds
You
like-
feel
and
down.
you have a mental capacity that time. Oh man, that guy.
Why did they say that?
Guy. That's how you just end, you know, it just changes it. So I feel like we need that environment, you know. It could be like
Somewhere
right now.
where to give ourselves like intervention.
Yeah, so I've been speaking to my boss, and he's retiring, so I don't know if I get this or not. I want to open my school on Saturdays for educational purposes. I want to have 6 different classes on a Saturday with 6 different teaching mechanism or teaching topics,
Methods as well.
and then we just give them that free of cost. If our youth and our people want to do it, I can advocate that to happen. But it depends. Okay, we could talk about these ideas. Now, who's going to help with the idea? Because we can write that. The person can come with the idea, but he needs a team to brainstorm that idea to make it a people idea, you know? It just can't be one person job anymore. So,
Yeah.
you know? So next time we got to find out ways to sit down and be like, okay, look, oh, this is my background, this is your background, right? How can we link them together to be able to share traffic of information?
I feel like the only people willing to do that are the youth.
Correct.
Yeah.
We have to start off. Our parents can't do that. They're just so senile with that.
They're like, go to uni and that's it.
For example, growing up, I remember we used to do like activities where there was a bus that would pick us up. So we were going to bus. Did you do that as well? That was amazing, and like, you know, it follows us till today. Like we can
You
talk
remember
about
it?
that till today because it created a sense of belongingness, which is so
does.
important, you know. And it's like so that belongingness, planning activities where youth can come together, get involved, be comfortable around
Know
one
one
another,
another.
and just unite. Yeah, unite one another. It's so important.
It is.
And the title that my boss told me when I told him the idea is like it's actually called social cohesion. And I'm trying to figure out what the cohesion part means yet. But I know what the social is. So we'll leave it at that.
Yeah. So,
That's wow.
Marley, you said something really interesting, like when people used to go back to sorry, when
Say it.
people
basket-
used to go to like
activities.
together.
Activities, yeah.
I feel like that also gave people an opportunity to know other kids in their community, know who their relatives are.
Yeah,
Now,
but nothing.
honestly, now I feel like we're doing really bad in that department where like you don't even know who your your relatives are anymore. Yeah.
Wow,
Sure.
those are pretty good points. In all honesty, well,
Just to add up with our last point, so the sale, right? So the sale had a rule to it. You can't just go there, I'm gonna go and socialize. You go there, do your home affairs. And then you eat and then you socialize.
Yeah.
So it was a routine base, you know?
Okay.
Let's get the
Structured.
important done first. You get your little break, and then you can just play games. That day, if you don't have any work, you can actually go sign up, say, I have no work today, I'm just here to muck around. They put you on the muck around table, you're playing cards and stuff. So you gotta learn to divide people's attention correctly also. There's no point just creating something, you say, go and do it. Figure out their attention, figure out what they're interested in, and then put them there. If they don't like it, they'll figure out they'll get out of there, go to the next one.
That's so true. Like, those some pretty good answers in regards to this question. How does our community see mental health? From my perspective, because I didn't get a go, from my perspective, I feel like a lot of individuals within our communities only get to see a small portion of mental illness when an individual has really gone deep within. For example, the only way some of our community leaders or individuals within our community, the only way they'll be able to point out mental illness is by saying, I saw this kid drunk today. Not realizing that it's not just, they were okay before they got to that level of actually getting drunk.
So alcohol abuse is not the only form of
You know? Yeah.
mental illness?
Like, don't just throw out, a lot of people think that it's not mental illness, right? They think that it's just because these young people want to have a good time. But before they actually decide to take alcohol and go out there into public areas and public settings, it was already, it was minor. And now they've, like, no one has seen it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, no one took the time to actually see it before they got to that last stage of going out there and just being drunk in social settings.
That's
Yeah.
such a good point.
You know,
Yeah.
so for example, an uncle would be like, "Oh, this young girl's just always out drinking, doing nothing with themselves." Well, were you there before got? Yeah, were you there before got to that level? No. So we need to, as a community, we need to stop judging, because you have no idea how many times it took an individual, a couple of tries before that was their last resort, right?
I got a question for you. I was going past Dan, you know? This is nighttime. There was a group of kids drinking alcohol, right? They were just drinking alcohol, do their own thing, not even bother the police. A mother comes in and a father, this is their strategy. They thought to actually intervene with the young people, to go and buy another gun sack and go and sit with these kids. Now these kids are already scared to even know that their parents are out there bad, searching for them. So now they want to sit there and they want to make it like the parent want to make.
So the parents went and bought liquor and sat next
Because
to their
they've been
children.
studying the student, these kids, right? They've been studying these young men, so young females group hanging out at late time in their own space, right? They figure out where they're at, they've been sharing information. Their strategy thought, okay, we want to understand what they're thinking. So instead of actually
Judging
trying
them?
to create a different time to conversate, they went at 9 o'clock at night, went bought more liquors, try to use liquor for the kids to drink, so then they can express their emotions to them.
Doesn't
Wow,
work like
that's so
that.
bad.
Also, like, this stigma that Sudanese just started learning how to drink in Australia is absolutely BS. Like, have you been to Africa? Honestly.
Different. I feel like the alcohol there is
No,
different.
Oh, it's so
Like, oh,
It
my
is so
children
different.
are drinking because they're now in Australia.
no.
Well, what are your relatives doing back home, sis?
You guys are drinking vodka, not Russia.
So like I feel like
they're just issues that we have never really like
opened up
unfolded.
about.
Yeah.
We've
Yeah.
never
So
really
you
opened up
think it's
about
just
these things.
Starting new. It really is a part of us.
And I feel like some people in our community define mental illness as being crazy.
Yeah,
Like,
pretty much.
in our language, they'll say, "Got a yo, this crazy person."
She would have been yawn. I got a she wouldn't yawn.
They don't understand. They don't understand. So talking about it and creating this awareness is so important, because maybe now they can watch it and be like, oh, they're not crazy. They're actually going through something.
Yeah.
And we need to find out what it is that they're going through.
And it's really important as well for people to actually not keep things in. Like, open up about your emotions. If you really love yourself, self-love is very important, self-care. If you really love where you're going in life, if you love the idea of having a purpose as a young person, as a young woman, or as a community member in general, talk, you know. Don't suppress things and allow them to get the better of you. You know, it's so important, and especially with men, Aban. Would you agree with me that in our community, a lot of men do not take the time to acknowledge their emotions and their feelings?
From a male perspective, right? I reckon if you're a male, it's a very hard kind of, it's a new idea to us to express things, right? So if it's a new idea, we're trying to speak about it right now, right? You need to not, yes, I agree with you, share with someone, but make sure you share with someone you care and you actually respect. Don't just share with everybody.
Anyone. No, not just with
because
anyone.
that becomes now a news feed.
Yeah, absolutely. That is so true.
And then when you see a news feed tomorrow, that's where the suicide rates are jumping from.
Oh, that is so true.
They get hit by what they thought they trusted the person. So find your buddy system, find the friend you actually trust. Doesn't have to be a friend, doesn't have to be too close to you. Sometimes it being not too close is better. But someone you can actually respect and create boundaries. You can't speak to someone.
That's so powerful. Like if your friends are sitting there and they're making fun of you because you're expressing yourself, they're not your friends.
No,
Get rid of them.
They're not.
It comes down. Yeah.
Right now.
They're not.
Yeah,
They're
Go
not.
get your broom and just start.
Yeah, no.
Sweeping, huh?
Yeah, and that takes us back to like just building strong relationships with your parents, your friends, because building those strong relationships will allow you to be able to express your emotions to someone that you do trust, so that they don't go behind your back.
Yeah.
Do
But
things.
first, you're the first person you gotta build trust with. Remember that. You're the key household. If you can't do it right, how you gonna let someone do it right?
Yeah. It all starts with
Definitely,
you. That's what I've
definitely
always
starts with you.
stated.
So-
Yeah, it always starts with you.
Yeah.
And just before we close off, I think a lot of us, especially all of us on this table, we understand that we have a lot of different the community standards are very different to our generation. And I feel like our community needs to understand that we are different.
Yeah.
Okay. Each generation comes with its own spices and ingredients. So they just need to really be patient with us and allow us to try and figure ourselves out the way we are, you know.
Yeah.
So in regards to that, before I close this, would you guys like to add in anything? Maybe, you know,
I want to say thank you so much for, first of all, getting me on this show.
Oh, thank you guys. I really do appreciate it, and I can tell that the energy was very different in here tonight, and it was all based on love. I love how like we're able to actually get together during these tough times. And I'd also like to advise our viewers that if anyone feels the need to actually come on the show and talk about themselves and where they're at in life and give their personal stories, as you all have seen, we've all put our perspectives down on the table. Please reach out to us. You can always email the Voices of South Sudanese page, and we'll get you on the show and hear your perspective.
Especially if it's about something that was said today. You should definitely come and say your side of the story.
That's it. That's
If you
it.
are a male and you want to participate, so this is a competition. I'm joking. Point of view also exists, guys. You know, point of view is really about males, right? So here, I'm invited. I'm the only male here, as you guys can see, right? But when we talk about point of view, we share mental health. We share a lot of things broadly, right? So again, next time I want to get you there to talk about fashion. I want to get you there to talk about something interesting. But I know enough about you.
Thank you, Aban. But in all honesty, yes, I've always said that it's so important for all of us to actually try and start similar platforms and bring out awareness within our communities. So this is not a competition. Each person has a gift, and whether it works for you, whether it doesn't work for you, at least step out of your comfort zone and give it a try, because we're all learning in life, and I am so blessed to actually have this type of knowledge to share with each and every one of you guys. So once again, thank you for taking the time and the energy to watch this video. And we'll see you guys again on episode 6 of the Voices of South Sudanese Women. Thank you.
Thank you.